With lateral forces at race speeds peaking at 5 Gs, seat fitting is critical. But driver comfort and support is not the only concern. For the '97 season, motorsport's governing body, the FIA, had introduced stringent new crash testing to emphasize side impact protection for the driver. The failure of the SF1 crash test came as a bitter surprise and disappointment to the team. For Richard McCainsh and Colin McGrory, it was back to the drawing board.
Based on what we had. Bad day for the good guys.
With hasty repairs carried out to the side impact structure, a wintry Silverstone was the venue for the team's next testing session. The morning was spent in preparing the car for its first run, to be made by Barrichello. The problems that cropped up were chiefly temperature-related. The ultra-sensitive gearbox did not enjoy being run at sub-zero temperatures, and sufficient heat could not be generated by the tires. Nevertheless, Barrichello was at least able to experience some corners, something that had not been encountered at Boreham.
Any difference in feeling? Anything you can add?
It's going straight, no problem, flat out. Braking, no problem. The brake pedal is not on my ideal point. I would like to be closer to me, but in any case, it's fine.
For Magnussen, the waiting was over, and he was able to take the wheel of the SF1 for the first time. But that didn't mean that he could indulge himself. Driving on the abbreviated South Circuit, FIA regulations insist that a speed limit of 120 kilometers per hour must be adhered to on the straight in front of the pits. The infamous Silverstone Sid, a long-serving safety officer, was on hand to enforce the rules.
He's on the pole, isn't he?
Yeah. Christ, he's even passed 6 tests. Boy must be a genius.
20 laps were completed without incident. For the entire team, there was good reason for optimism.
This man has achieved what many men could only dream about.
And he's weaseled out. He's weaseled out all sorts of circumstances.
Since winning the 1994 Formula 3 title, 23-year-old Magnussen had briefly appeared in Formula 1, IndyCar, and international touring cars. But this diversity led to concern over his lack of focus, and specifically his fitness.
Jan Magnussen hadn't been really schooled in physical fitness to any extent. He was well known for smoking, the odd cigarette, and he was known for a lifestyle that wasn't particularly gymnasium focused, let's call it that. Now, if he does not get fit and does not find himself able to complete the full distance of a Grand Prix, giving it 100%, then he's in big trouble.
Formula 1 races anywhere from an hour and a half to close to 2 hours. It really takes a lot out of you, and if you're not in shape, there's no chance you'll make it.
He's focused now, and I don't think we're going to have a problem with Jan Magnussen. You know, you're going to have in your little period now probably more interviews than anybody outside Schumacher or Damon. A racing driver is the mouthpiece in many occasions of the team, So we send all of our drivers to public speaking courses to try and assist them in projecting in the most positive way.
And tell you how you get in and how you get out of a speech.
These guys look good, don't they?
They do very good. That shirt's looking better now too. And the way they appear, the way they dress. Both Jan Magnussen and Rubens Barrichello have two suits made by the same tailor I've been going to since 1970. And they've got a right pair of shoes to go with it. This will happen all seasons, Ruben. Don't think this is the only time this is going to occur.
The results of the side impact test had revealed that in a real crash scenario, the shock would have punctured the fuel cell. In the wake of this failure, Richard McCain had discovered that a vital part of the chassis design had not been incorporated.
Leading edges work quite well, and that's still... The side impact test was pretty catastrophic, certainly from a personal point of view. I made a mistake on the chassis structure. As soon as we realised what the mistake had been, it was a couple of hours' work to instruct the workshop on the repair, but it was a week's work for the guys down there.
A second side impact test was arranged.
So we're taking bets here. Richard?
Bets on first out the door, I think.
Going down a lab route.
They heard what happened last time, they wouldn't give me odds.
3, 2, 1.
It did not look good.
To jump in, I'll pass it up.
For McCain, it was back to the drawing board again. Winter testing started in earnest in Spain, with Stuart Ford's first sight of the competition.
For us to go to that first full-blown test with other teams present and take the car out the box and have it go out the track and expose ourselves, because you have to do that. At some point you have to say, here we are, and be prepared to take the slack that you get if the car has a mechanical failure in front of the pits, for example.
It's okay to start the car, Jeff?
The 4 days in Jerez would be the first of around 20 days and 4,000 kilometers intensive testing at race speeds, bringing the car up to a race-worthy condition in time for Melbourne.
We seem to have the same oil leak as we had before, Ruben. So tell me.
Traction is quite good. I mean, the first touch on the throttle, there is a slightly wheel spin, but the track is still a little bit of a water on the track.
Due to the extreme complexity of modern race car transmissions, the behavior of the new gearbox was initially an unknown quantity.
We've got a mail bung that goes in that bit, so you take that out, there's a mail bung in the G codes.
But for all Formula One teams, dealing with temperamental high technology is an inevitable part of pre-season testing.
I got, I said somewhere that, you know, someone was obviously asking me how do I think the new Pure Grand Prix team will go on, and I said, well, you know, of course I think blah blah blah, professional, will do well, all this. I think the weak link on the moment for me will be the development of the engine, because in my opinion last year it wasn't a very strong thing. Anyway, it's in a Scottish paper, Coulthard slams Stewart, you know, that was a headline, and then it had
It's okay, we've got the couple. Dude, no, but
I'm not, you know, I wasn't slamming at all, I'm just
do
trying
that.
to, yeah.
People just do that.
I fell asleep last night again with the book on. And I woke up
for about 3 o'clock in the morning and couldn't get back to sleep. Put the book on, fell asleep again, and every time I got to rewind it.
Astonishingly, the new SF1 was already on the pace. On the new wet weather Bridgestones, Barrichello unofficially set the fastest time on the second day of testing at Jerez. But winter testing times are notoriously unreliable. Jackie Stewart's new team have a long way to go if they're to challenge Formula One's reigning champions.
He has chosen to climb a steep mountain. It's rather like Calvary, there's all sorts of stops and problems and incidents on the way. I'm sure he'll get there in the end, there's no doubt in my mind about that. He'll have a number of technical problems to overcome. He'll need to be sure his engine's as good as anybody else's. And paying for it all will tax him. I know Jackie quite well, and I believe he will bring with his team a new style, a higher level of presentation, and a better or improved image across the board. I believe, therefore, his arrival is a very positive and useful thing for Formula One.
The only time available for the third side impact test was 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning. This time, the newly finished second chassis was to be the victim.
3, 2, 1.
Much better.
Success and relief.
Not really, that's just, yeah, perfect.
For the Stewart family, there was equally good news. Boss and Bugsy had last tasted freedom in Geneva 6 months before. Their release from quarantine was imminent. With new teams, new drivers, and a fierce competition between rival tyre manufacturers, the '97 Formula One season promises to be the most open in years. On the eve of their departure for Australia, the Stewart Ford team have indeed come a long way. But they now face their stiffest challenge: to be competitive in 17 Grand Prix on 5 continents. The rehearsals are over. Their battle has just begun.
My own personal view is just that I develop every time I get in the car, and I get better and better during the season.
I've won almost everything on the past, and I want to win in Formula One. So I hope I can do that with the Stewart Ford team. There are going to be problems. I hope that they're problems that we can handle. But I've said all along that if we can qualify between 10th and 15th on the grid, we should be very proud.
You can have simulators, you can have dreams, you can have promises. You're going to be on the grid when the red light goes off. And let's see what happens.